So my name is Yamile Frenteria. I am from Los Angeles. I go to Brown University where I study education, and I'm interning in the office of Congressman Jimmy Gomez.
So the first question is, what inspires you to pursue leadership opportunities?
So I think I first started a lot just learning from my parents, who took a lot of the initiative to do things on their own. Just realizing like things weren't going to be done for you, and if it wasn't, you had to figure it out yourself. But I think like continuing on, it's been a lot of like understanding that there are like bigger people in the world and like bigger things influencing in the world. So in terms of like doing things like this, realizing that leaders who don't look like me aren't going to look like me unless I take the initiative to do that. So realizing that there are just like bigger problems in the world that if I care about, I have to solve myself.
What tools and resources are going to help you create a positive change in the Latino community?
Tools and resources. I think community is a really big part of it. Just realizing that like mobilization as a group is what's really important as a tool. I think working together is a really important thing, or a really important skill to know with other people, is to know how to engage with other people and how to motivate other people and how to learn from other people. And then in terms of skills, I think it really is knowing how to listen. And being a leader, I think, has a lot to do with that, just gaining a lot from other people and learning from them.
Why do you think it's important for young people to play an active role in politics?
I think that was a question I had a long time answering for myself. It was a really hard trying to figure out what your role was. Thinking that you couldn't have a big role in politics or in civic engagement or in the world, feeling like one person is so small. But I think it's important because every voice does matter, and no one's going to mobilize if everyone has that same mentality. And change isn't going to happen if no one takes that initiative. And people don't realize that maybe if I start, it will start a bigger movement and it will make a change. So I think the reason it's so important that young people mobilize is because everyone always says that like we're the future leaders, and it's true. Like eventually we're going to be the ones making the decisions. We're going to be the ones changing the world. So it's important to start now to gain those skills and to understand how the world works and to know what changes we want to see and how to start doing that.
What qualities do you think are important in a leader?
So I think leading is a lot of, it's kind of hard to lose the perspective sometimes of what you're doing it for and who you're working for, or who you're working with. So I think the biggest part of being a leader is understanding who you're leading. So I think it's working with your community, it's listening to the people who are following you. So if you don't pay attention to those people, then there isn't going to be anyone to lead. So I think the biggest part is listening to the people who you're leading and trying to have them be your leaders and the people who inspire and motivate you every day.
What are you doing personal? What are you personally doing to make the world a better place for your generation?
Oh, that's a hard question. So I had a conversation recently with a CHCI alum who talked about how there was just a big lack of representation, and how the way that she was fixing that was her taking the initiative to be that representation. And I feel like that's what I'm doing here. I was really afraid to do things like CHCI just because I was afraid of taking the spot from someone else or someone who might do a better job in the position. But then I realized that it really is taking advantage of these positions for myself, and taking all that I can learn and taking it back to my community, and teaching even just my family about a different issue, or teaching my cousin or teaching a friend about how to get involved in different opportunities. I think that's like one of the smallest ways that I'm making change and doing things for my community, is taking it back even to the smallest step, and to this, like, even if it's a small piece of advice I can offer someone, that's the thing that's going to make a small change for at least one person's life, who can then go on and inspire someone else and make a bigger change somewhere else.
So these are intern program related questions. So what motivated you to apply to the Congressional Internship Program?
Yeah. So I study education policy, and I felt like there was a lack in the policy side at my school. I learned a lot about the history of it, but didn't really get to see how it worked in practice and in modern day. So I feel like CHCI was just a great opportunity to keep learning. I had never really gotten the chance to explore something new. I was always between home and school and was very set in those mindsets. But this was like a great opportunity, I think, to explore something new and get to meet a great new group of people and get to learn about policy issues that I had never learned about, live in a new place. And I think more than anything, I was just really excited to learn about what drives our country and what drives policy, and eventually take that back to my community to see how I can mobilize people and mobilize like my friends and my community to make change here.
What has been your favorite part of your internship experience?
I think definitely being surrounded by so many young, motivated people. That's something I really didn't expect or know coming into, was how much I was going to learn from the cohort itself or the people who I've met in DC. They're all amazing people who are here for so many different reasons, but also for the same reason, is because they care. And I feel like that's been one of the most beneficial things, is just being inspired by the people who I work with and the people that I meet. And yeah.
How have you grown as a leader over your internship experience?
I think a lot of it has been confidence. Coming into it, I was very unsure of myself, and I still am sometimes, but I've had like a lot of people who have reassured me, and people have told me like a lot of times is that you belong here, and like DC is your space if you make it your space, and your office is your space if you make it your space. All these places where I really thought was I didn't belong, or I was intruding in a space, or I felt very different. I think that's what it has been, is I've gained a lot of confidence in my abilities and in my skills that I know that I'm going to take back to the people who I work with in the future, which I think was lacking in my leadership, that I was very hesitant in making decisions or hesitant in my own abilities, thinking that maybe I wasn't the best person to lead. But I think gaining all this knowledge and trying to educate myself as much as I can is what's making me more fit to be a leader in the future.
What would you say to someone considering applying for the internship program?
Do it. There's a lot that you can learn from the program. We were talking about this earlier, and there's a lot to learn in every experience. And this is definitely an experience that someone can take away. Everyone can take something away from this experience. I really enjoyed working with the cohort. A lot of other people, I really enjoyed working in their office. I had really great people working in my office with me, so I learned a lot from them. I got to learn a lot about policy and a lot about people and about how politics work. So I think if they're hesitant, it's that it might be hard or challenging, and there's definitely going to be some points where you're going to be struggling, but it's definitely going to be worth it. You're going to come out as a better leader, as a better student, as a better learner, as a better teacher, and I think in the long run, which I'm still learning too, it'll be worth it and it'll pay off.
And you answered this a little bit already, but what have you learned here that you can apply back at home?
I feel like there's so much. I think definitely it's learning, having learned a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, it's learning that like your voice really does matter, which was something that I didn't know coming before coming here, is that I didn't know whenever you tried to make your voice heard who was listening. And being on this, I think I've learned that someone always is, and someone cares, and someone who might be higher up is always trying to help us out. So I think that's like a big thing, trying to take back to the community, that no matter how small your voice is, the louder you are and the more you try to make it heard, it will be. And we can mobilize as young people, and if we keep working for it, we can make a change.
Great. So the last of things, I'm going to need you to look directly into the camera and say,
okay.
I am a congressional internship program participant, and I am here to lead. I will hold it over the screen.
Okay.
And also, yeah, so let's focus on this one first.
On the screen?
Yeah, so look directly at the camera.
Okay, give me a second. I'm a congressional internship program.
I am a congressional internship program participant, and I am here to lead.
I'm going to forget this as soon as I look away from the computer.
I did it, don't worry, you got it.
I'm a congressional internship program. participant. I was going to say intern. I am a congressional internship participant, and I am here to lead. I forgot program.
One more time.
I'm a congressional internship program participant, and I am here to lead.
And the last thing is a thank you, CHCI.
Thank you, CHCI.
Excellent.
Yeah. That hurt my eyes so bad.